Wow, okay, so even though we thought it could not possibly get any weirder than the 2020 NFL season, well, here we are.
It bounces off the crossbar, and it's good!
John Gruden, that his time as the Raiders coach was over.
And escapes and throws it right into the arms of Alshire.
Antonio Brown, that's Antonio Brown without his uniform.
Downfield, he's picked, no, dropped!
All right, look, we don't have time for any more of these clips. So let's start from all the way back in week 1. Well, if you remember all the way that far back, then you would remember that we started off the year with a heinous ref ball game in the Cowboys vs. Bucks, and the game was pretty much decided by one call. Damn shame, because it was a pretty good game, but that would unfortunately be a story and a main theme throughout the entirety of this NFL season. And some other headlines from week 1 were the Green Bay Packers getting destroyed by the New Orleans Saints 38-3, and people were calling Aaron Rodgers washed. Yeah. Also, Chandler Jones had 5 sacks in one game and still somehow finished the year with just 10. Like, really? And the 49ers also almost had one of the greatest collapses we've ever seen, and that kind of goes under the radar, but just imagine if the Lions had came back from this game. Oh, and the Raiders had an absolutely wild opening game on Monday Night Football in their new stadium and pulled off a crazy win against the Ravens. And we enter week 2 where Derrick Henry comes back and claims his throne as the rightful rushing champion of the NFL. The man rushed for 182 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the Titans beat the Seahawks in a thrilling game. So hey, everything's looking good so far, right? Well, the Jets also decided to play Zach Wilson, and he threw as many passes to the Patriots as he did to his own team. Wow. But besides that, there was a Monday night game where the Giants collapsed, like they also usually do, and the Minnesota Vikings did it again. And now we go into week 3, where it's found out that Aaron Rodgers is still good at football. The Raiders also had another wild finish with the Dolphins, so I mean, I guess that's kind of normal for them at this point, and Zach Wilson's getting annihilated by the Broncos, so it seems like all is normal in the NFL. And then arguably the 2 weirdest plays we've ever seen happen, as Justin Tucker nails the longest field goal in NFL history to barely beat the Detroit Lions, and then this play happens. Like, what? Like, how is this even possible? How do you let this happen? What? And we move on to week 4, where this moment was arguably the weirdest of the season and doesn't get talked about enough. But in week 4, the Raiders played against the Chargers in a dome, but there was still a delay for about an hour because of a lightning storm. Huh? And Tom Brady also returned to play against the Patriots, and honestly the game was really boring and not much happened, but just when things were about to start going off the rails, the Atlanta Falcons collapsed again, so all is well in the universe. Saquon Barkley also came back and actually did something other than tearing his Achilles. The Jets beat the... What? The Jets beat the Titans? How? This team was the 1 seed? But we move on to week 5, where things just fall apart. Literally a game that had absolutely no defense, horrible ref ball, was the Chargers versus the Browns. The score was 47-42. The Browns dropped 42 points, had 532 yards and 0 turnovers, and still lost the game. Thanks, refs. And this is where the Raiders saga also begins, because John Gruden's emails got leaked and the Raiders started falling apart like they do every year. And that is not it, because the Packers and the Bengals played this week, and if you were watching that game, then you'll know that it was one of the most wild endings to a game that you will ever see in your life. This game alone had 5 missed field goals and a missed extra point. For reference, in this week 5, there was 12 missed field goals and 12 missed extra points alone, by far the most missed kicks in a single week since they moved the extra point line back in 2015. So we move on to week 6, where Derrick Henry just annihilates the Bills, and there was an insane goal line stand at the end of the game, so I mean, just a damn good game of football. Geno Smith played in an NFL game, and by the way, he's still absolutely terrible. And if you haven't figured it out by now, yes, we've gone back into chaos, because another potential game of the year happened between the Cowboys and the Patriots. Once again, if you were watching this game, you were losing your mind, because you thought that, hey, it was over after this touchdown by Trevon Diggs on the pick 6, and then the very next drive, Mac Jones bombed Kendrick Bourne touchdown. And now you're thinking, oh, Patriots have it in the bag. And then CeeDee Lamb touchdown. Game over. Absolutely nuts. And the Dolphins also lost to the Jaguars, which gave them their first win of the season. More on them later, but they grinded out this win against the Dolphins in London. And then the Raiders released John Gruden. And we move on to week 7, where Carson Wentz throws possibly the worst pass I've ever seen in my life against the 49ers. Like, actually Actually, though, what was his plan? And honestly, looking around the league, not much else happened. I mean, Case Keenum played football, and the Browns had absolutely no running backs, but besides that, I think this was definitely the most boring week in the league. And we go straight into week 8, where Cooper Rush led the Cowboys on a game-winning drive, and the Vikings lost the game. Pain. Cooper Rush? Are you kidding me? Okay, and the Steelers decided to sacrifice their kicker on this play. Like this play had no chance of working. What was their plan? And this ended up changing the strategy for the rest of the game, and oh my god, really, Pittsburgh? And on this very week, in week 8, the legend of Mike White was born. The man threw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns in his first career start. Mike White was saying he should have been the #1 pick, and everyone was like, oh, just get Zach Wilson out of here. Mike White is God. More on him later as well. Also, I just want to throw in this ending to the Cardinals-Packers game, because I still have no idea what AJ Green was trying to do here. And we move into week 9 with more ref ball, because the Bears and Steelers played, and this was probably one of the worst taunting calls of the year, which is still saying a lot, as this Bears player stares forward, then gets hip checked by the ref as he's going back to his sideline and gets called for a penalty. Like, damn, I just feel bad for him at this point. Also, James Conner is like good at football all of a sudden, and Colt McCoy destroys the 49ers, and this was also the same time that Aaron Rodgers has that whole thing going on, and Jordan Love looks kind of trash when he actually plays, so Packers fans were not in the best state of mind at this time. And at this point in time, Lamar Jackson was looking like the MVP of the league, and the Vikings lost another close one. Pain. Also, the Bills played the Jaguars, and the Jaguars somehow won this game in the Josh Allen Bowl. And if you were watching NFL Red Zone, Scott Hansen was absolutely losing his mind every single time Josh Allen sacked Josh Allen.
The #7 pick in the 2019 draft, Josh Allen, sacks the #7 pick in the 2018 draft. Josh Allen.
But we move on to week 10, where Russell Wilson comes back way too early, and my god, he looks awful. Also, Chase Young tore his ACL against the Bucks, which makes the 6th significant injury in literally the same exact spot on this field. Washington, you gotta fix this. This can't keep happening. And then we had the Cardinals play against the Panthers, where Cam Newton signed a contract with them, so that's cool, right? And this meant that at this time, the Panthers were now paying Cam Newton's replacement, Sam Darnold, Cam Newton's replacement's replacement, PJ Walker, and now Cam Newton himself. Good stuff, Carolina. And this week just keeps getting weirder, because the Steelers somehow tied with the winless Lions. It was found out that Mike White is unfortunately not very good, and also the Dolphins beat the Ravens running the same exact blitz 35 times. And moving on to week 11, we also almost witnessed another one of the worst collapses as the Chargers barely beat the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. Russell Wilson gets outdueled by Colt McCoy as the Cardinals beat the Seahawks, and the Colts absolutely annihilated the Bills, and honestly at this time looked like a dark horse Super Bowl contender. Damn, I'm sure they'll go far in the playoffs too. Yeah, but honestly, week 11 was another boring week, and in week 12, we start with the Vikings, and Kirk Cousins literally lining behind the wrong lineman on 4th down. Like, dude, how does this even happen? The Giants beat the Eagles, and Jalen Reagor, man, oh my god, you gotta catch that ball! Zach Wilson also throws one of the worst picks of the year as the Jets lose to the Texans. Like, man, I don't know if this is Carson Wentz levels of bad, but like, I don't know what his plan was. Also, we were blessed with more ref ball on Thanksgiving, as we saw the Raiders and Cowboys, to be fair, the 2 most penalized teams in the league, have one of the most penalized games in decades. So it seems like we've had a few normal things in a row, but week 13, we had the Patriots and Bills play in a freaking blizzard with only 3 passes thrown by the Patriots in a win. They threw 3 passes in 2021 and won the game. And to make things even weirder, the Lions also finally got their first win of the season against, pain. And that's enough for week 13. So week 14, the Bucks and the Bills also had a thriller, but ref ball, are you kidding me? Also, the Raiders learned absolutely nothing from teams dancing on logos, and they decided it was a great idea to dance on the Chiefs logo, because they've just been owning them for the past couple of decades, right? And then the game proceeded to end on literally the first play of the game. And going into week 15, Tom Brady was shut out for the first time in 15 years. And the Saints beat the Bucks, again, 9 points. and they beat the Bucs. Also, we continue to learn that Drew Lock is still awful, and the Broncos got absolutely throttled by the Bengals. And in by far the biggest upset of the entire year, the Lions absolutely demolished the Cardinals, and record-wise, you could say that this was the best team in football versus the worst team in football. But somehow that didn't matter at all. Besides that, Travis Kelce and Jonathan Taylor are pretty good at football, and Urban Meyer got fired, concluding one of the most disastrous coaching tenures in sports history. And in context of this season, just another footnote throughout the entire year. Now, in week 16, the Saints had 22 players on COVID list, which led to a record at the time 57 different starters in one season, and still got railed by the Dolphins. The Chargers, who were looking really good in the beginning of the season, somehow lost to the Houston Texans, and I wonder if this will have playoff implications down the line. Also, the Jaguars lost to the Jets, which meant that the Jaguars won the Tank Bowl for 2 years in a row. That is just sad. And in week 17, which would usually be the last week of any season, is not the last of this one. And things just continued to escalate into chaos, as this is arguably the most crazy week of the entire year, as the Eagles beat the Washington football team and their stadium collapses as Jalen Hurts is trying to give a high five to a fan. Also, Antonio Brown decided to take off his pads and hype up the crowd as he ran away from the entire Tampa Bay Buccaneers team playing the Jets at the same time and never came back. Also, 2 NFL teams dropped 50 points this week, and the Bengals came back to beat the Chiefs. And now we move on to week 18, which was honestly surprising. I'm just kidding, it was not tame. It started off with the Ravens and the Steelers having a chaotic fight for a potential playoff spot, and the Steelers won in a nail-biting overtime thrilling game, I guess. But this game would only matter if, oh my god, they lost. The Colts lost to the Jaguars. Are you kidding me? Now with that happening, all the Raiders and the Chargers had to do was not tie, and the Steelers were in the playoff. Oh my god, it's gonna happen. But Brandon Staley decides, maybe being out of the playoffs isn't that bad. So he calls a timeout, and unfortunately for him, the Raiders take advantage of that, bring in their run package, first down, and Daniel Carlson puts the nail in the Chargers season's coffin. And now we move into the playoffs, where the Wildcard Round was honestly not great, as the Bengals and Raiders game was kinda boring, and also on top of that had some ref ball that may have impacted the entire outcome of the game. But the legend of Joe Shiesty was born, so okay. And in an even more boring game, Josh Allen dragged his nuts all over the Patriots defense, and the Patriots just got absolutely destroyed. And in an arguably even more boring game, what is Kyler Murray doing, dude? Like, what was your plan on this play? Tom Brady and the Bucs railed the Eagles, and the Cowboys lost to the 49ers because Mike McCarthy is a hack. And the Chiefs played the Steelers, which was a good game for like the first quarter and a half, but then Mahomes happened, so. And in the divisional round, the Tennessee Titans, who somehow got the 1 seed, ended up throwing an interception on the first play of the game, but I mean, I guess to counter that, they sacked Joe Burrow 9 times, but the Bengals still won. Wow. The MVP of the league for 2 years in a row does absolutely nothing to push his team over the limit, can't get a single scoring drive past the second quarter, and their special teams can't complete a single punt or a field goal. Absolutely disgraceful. If the Packers don't blow it up, then what are they even doing with people like Jordan Love? They better trade Rodgers. Oh my god, they gave him how much money? Now, in a normal playoffs, the Bucs vs. Rams has a competition to be one of the best playoff games you'll ever see, and Cooper Kupp is having the best wide receiver season ever at this time and makes one of the most clutch plays you'll ever see a wide receiver make. This entire drive between Stafford and Cooper Kupp was mainly just based off of their connections over the offseason and all the extra work they've been putting in, and god, what a hard worker Cooper Kupp is, am I right? And with this game being over, Tom Brady is finally gone forever. Huh? What? No. No. Now, this was the best football game I've seen in years, and it honestly looked like the 2 best football players on the planet were going blow for blow, and unfortunately for the Bills, Josh Allen made the terrible first mistake of losing the coin toss. Chiefs win. Yay. Fair. Anyway, wow. How? I watched this entire game and I still can't tell you what I just watched. Honestly, I have no other explanation other than Mahomes was paid off or his family is just breaking him mentally. Bottom of the line, I blame his wife. Kyle Shanahan with a lead late in a playoff game? Huh, I'm sure everything will be fine, right, Jaquiski Tart? Right? And they blew their Super Bowl chances. Alright, Rams and Bengals in the Super Bowl. Well, okay, to sum it up, Aaron Donald smash, Cooper Kupp very good, ref ball, easy ring, also Stafford arm punt. Well, that about wraps up the 2021 NFL season. But if you enjoyed this video, then like and comment. It really helps the channel a lot. And you can even subscribe if you feel like you might want to come back and watch more videos just like this one in the future. Also, watch one of these videos right here on the screen. They're really good, trust me. Anyways, until next time.